Spending money to show people how much money you have is the fastest way to have less money. The Psychology of Money, Morgan Housel. It is the most legitimate book by Housel that you can read if you want to manage your finances and be wealthy. I, myself, have read this book, and the strategies it offers are genuine. Let's make you aware of a few amazing things that I liked personally. When it comes to money, none of us is entirely rational. We usually don't bother to make and follow a budget or save something up from our every paycheck. Though we believe that doing so would be in our best interest, still we don't. We know that we need to make a financial plan, but the work won't let us. Either we spend too much out of exuberance or too little out of guilt. Hello all, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Unwana Udo, your free personal finance coach. Coming up in this video are the amazing lessons to learn from the book, The Psychology of Money, beautifully written by Morgan Housel. The book is nicely broken up into some tangible lessons that will help you apply them to your finances and get a better insight into money management. I will be telling about the lessons that helped me to personally improve my money mindset and convince me to invest more. Lesson number 1. Compounding is time. To simply put the term compounding, it means to earn interest on interest. Compounding is helpful for investors to build wealth by generating returns on investments over time. These returns will then continue to compound and will help you grow your assets. Some of you might previously know how compounding works, but we fail to understand it on a deeper level. Housel in his book delivers some perspective by taking a look at Warren Buffett. Buffett is best known as the wealthiest investor of all time, but it is not essential because of his skills as an investor. He started investing from a very young age of 10, so his money has had decades to compound. Of course, we cannot go back in time and fill up investment accounts that we never had, but the least you can do is start investing now. 4. The longer the money stays in the market, the more time it gets to grow. Lesson number 2, focus on being reasonable with money rather than being rational. One of my favorite lessons from the book is that Housel writes how being reasonable about our money is more powerful than being rational with it. He, along with me, admits that we are human beings with plenty of emotions that will inevitably affect how we manage and feel about our money. Isn't that the truth? Directly, to quote his words, he says, "You're not a spreadsheet. You're a person. A screwed up, emotional person." It took me a while to figure this out, but once it clicked I realized it's one of the most important parts of finance. Here we can see that even though something may look good on a piece of paper based only on numbers, it may not be the best strategy in the long run. For example, if we see that having a fever is good to fight an infection, which is rational. But actually, no one wants to suffer from the pain and hot flashes of a fever. It is reasonable. So, you see the difference between being reasonable and rational is huge. What you can do to be reasonable in money management is follow the 50-30-20 rule of thumb. It says to spend 50% on needs, 30% on wants, and 20% on your financial goals. That will easily manage your finances reasonably. Lesson number 3, luck and risk puts an impact on everything. When it comes to personal finance, it is easy to keep an eye on our individual actions by forgetting about how our privilege, our luck, and risk, as Housel goes on to put it, can affect financial outcomes. He narrates a story about how Bill Gates went to a high school with one of the very first computers, which altered the course of his career as well as his life. One of his friends named Kent Evans, who was his classmate, was also talented in using computers, but he died in a mountaineering accident, unfortunately. So, you see, this is how luck and risk works. We can see, from this example, that these invisible puppet strings can affect our career, our lives, and mainly our money. Housel writes that luck and risk are both the reality that every outcome in life is guided by forces other than individual effort. We can remove ourselves from the temptation of putting everything on ourselves by admitting the role of luck and risk in our life when it comes to money management and investments. Lesson number 4, being rich and being wealthy is different. Another main lesson that I learned from this book was being rich and wealthy are two different streams. Being rich includes having a high current income. But being wealthy is different, it is not visible. Wealth is the money that you possess but you don't spend. It is optional to buy or do something with it in your future. Being rich only gives you short-term opportunities, while being wealthy gives you the flexibility of having more items that you want. It may include freedom, or time or possessions in the future. Lesson number 5. Getting money versus keeping money. Getting money requires taking risks, being optimistic, and putting yourself out there. But keeping money requires the opposite of taking a risk. It requires humility, and fear that what you've made can be taken away from you just as fast. It requires frugality and an acceptance that at least some of what you've made is attributable to luck, so past success can't be relied upon to repeat indefinitely. Morgan Housel, by this quotation, is trying to say that getting money and keeping money are two different skills. To get the money you need to risk doing the hard work and have a positive attitude. While keeping money requires you to lessen the risk, resist being greedy, and remember that things can break or get carried away from you at any moment. By these 2 points, we get a notion that money earning is hard but money spending is very easy. So, we must avoid buying things that add no value to our lives. This kernel of wisdom from The Psychology of Money is commendable and carries high value if we follow the strategy. Lesson number 6, find out what is enough. Find out what enough is. The majority of people always feel like there's never enough capital. That is a big setback, though. Housel notices that the objectives of people always seem to be changing and that we always relate ourselves to other people. Instead, what we should be comparing ourselves is with our past selves. Are you getting my point? Think of yourself at present and the old you. How much income do you make now and how much did you make then? It must be more than before, right? However, you still think that it's not enough. That happens, right? In the book, Housel has shared the stories of desire and risk. How they can turn growth upside down and be the reason for the downfall of any success. So, do find out what enough is for you. Because that is important and can help you in managing wealth and investing. Housel writes, if expectations rise with results, there is no logic in striving for more because you'll feel the same after putting in the extra effort. It gets dangerous when the taste of having more money, more power, more prestige, increases ambition faster than satisfaction. This text of his book is legitimate and tells the drawbacks of how greed can ruin your wealth management and, in my opinion, your mental peace too. Lesson number 7, tails we win. Tails, you win. Long tails, the farthest ends of a distribution of outcomes, have tremendous influence in finance, where a small number of events can account for the majority of outcomes. Making enterprise decisions on 99% of the days doesn't add value. The decisions that you should be making must be on a minor number of days to transpire something huge, such as an enormous downturn, a frothy market, and a speculative bubble, etc. That will give rise to benefits and earn wealth. Warren Buffett has bought 400 to 500 stocks in his lifetime. And he has made most of his wealth from 10 of them. Reading the book, The Psychology of Money, helped me to shift my money mindset out of scarcity to the feeling of enoughness. It was so fulfilling that it inspired me to save and invest more. It also gave me insight into the importance of playing my own money game and not getting caught with what everyone else saves or do with their money. I hope these lessons helped you think more critically about your investing and money management. If you still feel like doing more to manage your finances, you can follow my digital course called Personal Finance Domination. Link in the description box below. This course will equip you with all the strategies you further need to get your finances in order. Lastly, if you found this video helpful, hit the like button right away. And, if you have any questions, you can drop them in the comment section and I'll reach out to you as soon as possible. Make sure to watch the next video on the screen. Take care.